Tits, Wit, and Grit is a podcast created to hold honest, intelligent conversations with women who lead, build, and navigate demanding professional lives. This podcast was born from a belief that women benefit from spaces where experience is honored, perspective is shared openly, and leadership can be discussed in both depth and candor, and maybe even a little laughter. Each episode brings forth voices that will offer insight drawn from their experience, and we will all speak honestly about leadership, resilience, ambition, and personal evolution. So let's get started. Tits, Wit, and Grit. Laura, maybe if you wouldn't mind, will you give your daughters just a brief introduction?
Sure, absolutely. So I can't call her a Raether anymore. My oldest daughter, Emily, she walked down the aisle last July, so she's a Williams. But she is my firstborn daughter, an amazing young professional. You'll get to hear all about her good success. Currently living in the lovely state of Iowa. And my other daughter, who's also on this week's episode, is Amelia, and she is living in Florida, and she's a recent college grad, and she's still a Raether, so that's good. I still have a Raether. But yeah, happy to have them on. Obviously, they are two of the three children that I have, but two of kind of my little family tribe. We actually have our own chat, and it's called the Three Olives, because we all three might like to drink martinis. So we'll just start with that.
I love that. Tell us a little bit about kind of the, story of growing up and female leaders, including your mom around you. Like, tell us what life was like growing up in Minnesota as a female.
Yeah, I think I'll kick it off. We had a wonderful full childhood. We were surrounded with lots of love and lots of empowered women. We always joke that in our family, I shouldn't say we joke. It stands true that women lead our family, and that's for sure. We love our men, our dad, our brother, but they kind of take the back seat. So, especially growing up with my mother, she took a lot of pride in her career, and she instilled that in us girls. And I think she balanced it as best she could. She wanted to show us, you can get the best of both. You can be an awesome mom. You can be present for your kids, but also you can kick ass at work. She did that. And as I'm paving my way through my career, that's what I'm trying to keep in mind. So, yeah.
It's great, Emily.
Emily kind of just stole the words out of my mouth. But yeah, to Emily's point, growing up in Minnesota, Sarah, you're from Minnesota, so you understand the nice warmth of Minnesota people. But we had that, and then we also had some hard. Can I swear on here?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
We come from a bunch of hard ass women, like thick-headed, strong leaders. Some have different leadership skills, but others, it's hard and soft leadership. It's a good mix of both. So, as I go into my young professional career, I have so many skills and mindsets that I've just taken a bit from each and every one of them.
That's great.
Really great.
Amelia, you mentioned hard and soft leadership skills. Can you share a little bit more about what you mean? And if you've got a story to exemplify that would be amazing.
Yeah. You guys know Laura Raether. she's, I would say she does more hard leadership. She's a little bit more tough, straight cut. Don't really, she'll ask you how you're doing, but she wants to get the shit done. Other women in my family do more soft leadership where it's like, okay, let's sit and let's think and let's feel. And like my mom is in the corner like, no, let's get it done. Like cut to the chase. Like we got to go. But there's best of both worlds in those kinds of leadership. So, yeah.
And it's funny because I think my sister and I, as we're growing up, we're opposite leaders. I tend to follow my mother. I'm a little more type A. I don't want to say cutthroat because I care what you think, but I'm also like, can we care a little later? Can we get it done now kind of thing. Versus like my sister definitely takes the more soft approach, but I've I think we had the balance of both, and so we got to see both play out in successful women, and we got to kind of choose like Amelia said, different aspects to take from both of them. So
That's great.
Good.
That's really
So I'm
yeah.
gonna ask you both a little bit of what was an oh shit moment that changed the trajectory of your life? I know you have your little, your lives aren't over yet. You got a lot more to go, but anything that comes to mind, whether personally or so far professionally.
yeah, I think as we're young, we're going through oh shit moments about every year or every 6 months because things are changing so fast. But I would say my biggest was COVID. It hit me when I was a junior in college. So my entire time through college or adolescent years, I always thought like you graduate college, you work a 9 to 5, you find your home base, and that's kind of how life went. And so when COVID came into play, things definitely changed for me. And so I got to see slight panic at first because you didn't know what was happening. But the beauty in that is no one did. So it didn't matter if you were 65 or you were 15, we were all kind of in that same boat. And so I really took advantage of it, you could say. And when I graduated, I was like, I'm not moving home. I got my remote job and I picked different cities every year just to try out where I wanted to go. And I was lucky enough, my fiance or boyfriend at the time, now husband, he was in that boat with me and we went along for the ride. And so we, tried out 5 different cities. And that oh shit moment turned into an oh shit moment. Like things are looking good. So it was a blessing in disguise for sure.
I would say I've had an oh shit moment, but I would say I'm more of in an oh shit phase right now. My oh shit moment started in college, and when I just realized, like, okay, it was probably like the end of my junior year where I was like, oh wow, I have a year left. Okay, where am I going after this? So I just had to, just stand up and just be like, okay, I got to be a leader in my own life. I gotta be my own advocate right now. I gotta be vocal in what I want to do, and I have to, start paving my way. So I think I've always been in a no shit phase since college. But yeah, that's just how I've been navigating this postgraduate life during this kind of uncertain time of, where do I want to go? How do I want to end up there? And what path do I want to explore? What path do I want to, go down and just try out? So
That's
I
great.
can relate. I can really relate to that, Amelia. I think I also, when I was coming out of college, I was an art major and a communications major. Like, what are you going to do with that? And I did not know what I wanted to do. And I just started trying some things. And it is only now, later in my career, I mean, obviously I'm, super young for 46, but just teasing you. But I honestly recognized again later that some people have a deep expertise, right? Like they know they want to be an orthodontist and they're like just an amazing orthodontist and they continue developing and getting better at that. That's not me. Mine is like, oh, I think I have a little bit of interest here and a little knowledge here and a little knowledge in this area and a little knowledge. And so now I feel like I'm starting to stack those up into this generalist category where I can play across a lot of things.
right.
And so I will tell you, just be patient with yourself too, because I had friends again that was like, like I'm going to be a graphic designer. And it's like, that is like my passion and everything I want to do. My brother has never had anything unrelated to hockey in his life. Like that's his thing. And it's like, oh man, here I don't have a thing. And so again, that's my kind of counsel to you is just like, be patient because could be you turn out to be like me. And it's like, oh, you're just stacking knowledge and your expertise will come when all that knowledge starts stacking on itself.
Yeah.
There's
And
a
that's what I feel like
cool
right now. It's like building this layered cake, you know, and
Yep.
it'll start to look pretty. I know the end result, we'll get there, but just right now we just got to build the cake layers, and then frosting and decoration can come later.
That's good. They call that a passionate individual. It means that, yeah, there's actually a terminology for it, and you're multi-passionate.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a lot more individuals, particularly women nowadays, than ever before. And previously, you know, if you didn't know what you were doing, where you were going, and how you were getting there, it was a problem. Whereas now it's like, okay, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
and like to Emily's point, she tried 5 different cities. What fits? What works? What doesn't work? Right? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. It's keeps the door open for whatever it to come to arrive. Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're sticking with the shit theme, ladies, what's a good shit moment? Like, this is some good shits.
Meals?
Yeah, I'll take a load of this one. um, I think a good shit phase. As much as I talked about how I'm in my oh shit phase, I feel like I'm also in my good shit phase where I work in event activation right now part-time for a marketing service company, and we do event activations for the IndyCar series. So seeing you know, the end result of something that you've worked so hard for come to fruition and hearing the positive feedback come from it, like, I mean, my coworkers can tell you, like, we walk out of the track just patting ourselves on the back, like, we did that. Like, we made those people feel comfortable in the space, and we made them feel proud to be there. Like, without our hard work and dedication, like, those end results couldn't have happened. So I think just seeing the results of all your hard work, I mean, it's good shit.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Great feeling.
Yeah. I think mine, I'm just coming into my oh shit or good shit moment. And that's hitting a point in my career. Although early, I'm starting to feel more confident. I think that, you know, your first couple years out of school, you're just grinding and figuring it out, like what works for you, where's your voice. And I think within the last like year and a half or so, I felt confident, and I feel confident talking to leaders or different um, groups within my organization. And I feel like my opinion matters. And it's a good feeling to have, you know? So
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so I think that leaves us with no shit. So the idea here and the question is, what kind of moment have you had, or, you know, kind of experience where you're like, yeah, no shits given.
I think that's like my mentality through my entire life. I don't do things I don't want to do for the most part. And I know that sounds so Gen Z of me, because they love to say us Gen Zers don't like to do stuff. But, you know, on the other hand, it's like there's times where I'm like, no, I'm not taking it, or I'm not doing it, or no, that project doesn't align with what I think, or even outside of it, whether it was college or on a sports team, and you didn't agree. I think there's a respectful way to speak up and say, you know, this didn't work for me, or I don't want to say I'm not willing to try it, but I don't think I'm going to succeed if I do it. Um, um, whatever path was laid out for me, I want to pick my path. So I think that's probably I don't want to say the mantra of my life, but it kind of is. No shit. So
I love that.
it's
I would
great.
I would say like my no shits, like my no shit non-negotiables is like a bad mentality when it comes to a project or just, you know, starting your workday and you just have that bad mentality, or you're dealing with people, or you're working with people that have that bad work mentality. It's like I don't put up with that. It's like we're all here for a reason. We're all here to try to get to the end result. So, you know, no shit. We won't take it. Like, come on, people.
So, Laura, I have a question for you that's somewhat related, but did they come out like this or was it evolved over time? Like Emily and Amelia's, kind of perspectives. Emily's like, yeah, like I'm going to say, it seems like she's a straight talker, kind of like you. And Amelia, you kind of have the soft part of your mom. I'm sure you both have both, but I'm generalizing in the moment. Like, is that how they came out of the womb?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
Yeah, cute.
That's great. So, besides your mom, ladies, who's been an inspirational female leader to you, and what really caused you to look at them from that perspective?
Oof, that's hard. Uh, we've we have so many. My mom has two amazing sisters that are one's about 5 years older, and one's about 15 years younger. And so I've had the blessing to be the same age gap to my youngest aunt as my mom is to her. And so we've all kind of grown up together. And um, watching my aunts go through their adversity and how they handle it through life. Sometimes life didn't hand them the best cards, but they figured it out. And I think we figured it out because we all leaned on each other, which is quite beautiful to see. I love when female leaders, whether it's a personal reason or a professional reason, they lean on each other because it takes a village, and especially a female village is pretty badass. So,
Yeah.
watching that transpire through life was pretty amazing. And then I really lucked out, and I work at a company that's 93% female. And so, I was very fortunate. I've had two wonderful bosses that have taken me under their wings, and just have guided me through whether I started as like a marketing coordinator to now to the business development, more operational side. Um, and they've been so positive and encouraging to keep me going forward. And so just watching again almost an entire female company run. And I mean, we've been female for a long time, but it's 20 years in the making and still going. And so, um, yeah, I'm around women all the time. So it's been wonderful.
Great.
Yeah, we really are around women all the time. So, I mean, like Emily said, growing up with such a strong woman base in our family has just been a blessing. Definitely not in disguise. I mean, they're vocal about their leadership skills, whether, like I talked about before, it's soft or hard leadership skills. They let it be known, which is just a great way to go about being a leader. But on top of that, working in the event activation, hospitality world of it all, you have to be kind of like your own leader and you have to lead people in order to get something done. So I definitely look up to my boss that I work with very closely, and that's also a predominant service industry too. So it's been a blessing.
I just want to note for my bachelorette party, because I love my women so much, I couldn't just take my bridesmaids. So we took, I think there was what, guys, 22 of us that went, all women. Because I've now, whether my husband likes it or not, I've taken in his side as well. And so we all, like his grandmother, his mom's aunts, we all went on this, my bachelorette trip together. And it's the best way I could have celebrated.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
Gosh, cool.
Definitely was a
Okay,
good time.
I have a question. Young women today. So, I mean, obviously, we're older than you, so sometimes we're not as in touch with kind of the challenges. And so, tell me, even it can be professional, it can be personal, but what do you feel like are the themes right now that are kind of giving young women a hard time?
I think, and maybe this was the case with you guys, but I think it's competition among each other. I mean, we've all heard it before, women are their own worst enemies. And unfortunately, I think that's still a big part of the Gen Zers and millennials. I think there's a lot of comparison that happens, whether it's physical or professional or personal. you're constantly comparing because you're constantly seeing it. So it's not even like you're meaning to do it, it's just happening. And so I would say that's one of the major challenges. Luckily, we had all of you guys to break some pretty big barriers in the corporate world ahead of us. And so I will say that that path is much smoother, although bumpy at times. I think women are getting their foot in the door a lot quicker, if you will. But yeah, it's competition among us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Emily kind of stole my answer out of my mouth. Yeah, I would say competition is a big one for women of my generation for sure.
Mm-hmm. You both know that, I had the pleasure of working with your mom for so many years at General Mills. And I was reflecting back earlier today and kind of telling someone the story that, there used to be, and this was many, many years ago, like a mandate that you had to have one woman on the board or one woman on the executive leadership team or one. And so I really felt like it was like a limit. And so it was like, who's going to get the one spot? Right. And so then there was this cattiness and this mean, and the competition was really fierce. But I'm hopeful that's not the case today. Again, in a 93%, female workforce in your company, Emily, women are not fighting for the spots, but there is still competition, you feel?
I feel outside of professional maybe is a better.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just feel, I mean, the day and age of social media, um, and so you're constantly seeing people's quote unquote perfect lives that are happening. I mean, they're showing you what they want to show you, and so you're comparing a lot to them. And I know there's this big push for influencers or creators with large platforms to show the good and bad, but it's still like their worst day might not even be close to what yours is, and so you then are kind of like, you're comparing again. So you're like, you don't even feel what I feel because you still have X amount of money or whatever it could be. And I wish that just as girls or women, sorry, I use that word interchangeably, but you just, you supported each other. Like there's platforms big enough for this, there's corporations big enough for this. And like, imagine, yeah, if we all banded together and what if it was a 93% um, women workforce at other companies, not just, the single couple that fall into play. And so um, I think, yeah, competition, especially in the personal side, is definitely still there. So
Mhm.
So being women, we're called tits, wit, and grit for a reason. What is it that you love most about being a female in today's world?
What I love being most about being a female in this world is like it's the leaning over to the woman sitting next to you at the salon and asking what nail color she's getting. It's the glances we give each other when, we have to lift up our luggage over the overhead bin in the airplane when the man is sitting right there that could have helped us out. It's, asking who has a tampon in the bathroom. Like it's just like this silent code that has been present for generations that we've all just like silently known and silently just like give a nod to each other. We're just like, yeah, like that's us. Like we can do it. We have been doing it. There's nothing we can't overcome, and like bring on the barriers because we'll just break them back down.
yeah, I think too, like, first off, I just love getting kittened up. I guess my favorite thing of like getting out for the night, I'm like, I love it. I love taking 2 hours to get ready. And I don't care if you're going to roll your eyes at me and say that's ridiculous. I'm taking it. I will plan my day around it because it's my little piece, my little sanctuary. Um, and then I was just talking to my mom actually before this. I said, I love the silent wins of being a woman. Like, when a I love when a man complains about something, like something as small as like, "Oh, I have a cold," or "I have a stomach ache." And you joke in your head and you're like, "Yeah, I get a stomach ache for 5 days straight every month when it's around my time." So just those like little, you're almost like a silent warrior in your own head and you're just like, again, not a man hater, but it's just funny how we hold in so much, I don't want to say pain, but we hold in these what we think are small challenges of the day and we fight them silently and we keep things moving, but I think it makes us strong and I think there's power in silence sometimes. So
Mhm. For sure.
Mhm. That's awesome.
It's beautiful.
Hmm.
I have
Well,
a
maybe
question.
we should exit. Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question because I think our listeners would like to kind of hear this a little bit about grit. Each of you maybe tell when you've had to dig deep and use some grit to get through whatever life threw at you.
yeah. I had to face grit at quite a young age. Um, I think it was in 3rd grade, roughly. I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And so at the time, I didn't understand it. I just knew my brain wasn't quite the same as my classmates. And I think in 4th grade, I was at like a kindergarten reading level. And I remember talking to my mom. I was like, I don't want to be held back. So, what can we do to not hold me back? And thank God I had my mother because she's like, yeah, that's not an option for Raether girls. And so I put in the work and I was in tutoring for multiple days a week, multiple hours. And by the time took, it took years, but by the time I got to high school, I caught back up. And then I proceeded to exceed. So I think, um, again, I wouldn't wish it on any 3rd grader, but I didn't know at that time that those skills I was learning would only help me succeed much past elementary school. And to be honest, in college, I did great. I figured out my shit and learned my study habits because I had to as a young girl, and it really worked out for me. So yeah, it's my kind of story.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
gives me goosebumps, Emily, because I think there's a lot of people out there struggling with things and they don't know who to turn to or what to do or even just why am I different? And so I think, again, you had someone to turn um, to get help and to understand, like, well, we're just gonna, fight through it. So, yeah, I'm really glad that you A, had your mom and B, built that grit.
Yeah, because it was one of those things that was, told to me. It was like, this is your brain. So you're going to have it the rest of your life. And I like to say it's not a disability, it's an alternative way of thinking. And so I learned different skills from it, like my memorization skills are probably top tier because that's what I had to learn. And so, um, yeah, for any of the women out there listening, going through it, just keep going. Just keep going. So.
Amelia, do you have a grit story, my friend?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do not have a learning disability, unlike my sister, but I think I have to find my grit every day to differentiate myself from every other candidate that's, coming out of post grad life. I gotta dig deep and show, represent myself and represent how I'm different from, the person sitting next to me or the other person that's interviewing for the job. I always have to, you know, show how I'm better, not better, but, just my own different candidate than they are.
That's great. That's
Hmm.
good, ladies. And, I got the chance to get to know your mom through our work together. So I've had the pleasure of knowing your mom for just over a year. And I have to be honest, she's probably one of the funniest people I know. Her level of wit is like bar none. She can pull stuff out of her hat at the drop of a pin. And I mean, I'm rolling. And so I'm just curious, is this like a hereditary thing between the Raethers? Did it pass down? Like, what's a good wit story? Maybe about your mom or that
Ah,
you've got to share to let us know. Is this something that passed down? And tell us all about it.
Well, one of her favorite lines that she used to, or she always says, is if you're gonna hoot with the owls, you better soar with the eagles. I think that's something any of our family members that are listening, you've definitely heard that. um,
Yeah, and we were just I mean, again, every challenge of life comes along and you got 2 paths. You can be sad about it or and I think you should, by the way, I think you should feel a little. But I think laughter and wit was instilled in us since we were little kids. I know my sister won't touch on this, but my sister's got the wit. She's pretty quick on her feet. Whether it's great for a professional setting, maybe not, but she's
Hey,
quick with
Ben.
her. No, I think she gets that definitely from my mother. But yeah, my mom loves to snap a couple jokes here and there for sure.
I mean, you gotta like find the punchline in your daily life. It creates the ability to set yourself free a little bit, even if it is for those 30 seconds. I mean, nothing's better than being on a serious business meeting and hearing someone crack a little joke. It's like, oh, okay. Like, you know, let's relax a
Yeah,
little, not take everything so seriously. I mean, so yeah, find the punchline.
It's great. All right, Laura,
Yes.
we'll exit you for a few minutes and then we'll tell you when to come back.
Oh boy. Be nice.
see,
Bye, Mom.
I'm curious, when your mom told you we were doing this Tits, Wit, and Grit, like, what did you think?
I
like when you first came out with the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I
I loved
loved
it.
it.
Yeah, because I was like, let's shake it up.
Mhm.
There's so many buttoned up professional podcasts that are about like being a woman leader, and I'm like, yeah, but what about the backs, or what about the backside of that? Like what's like a little more personal, whether it is professional
Yeah.
or personal. But I think it was great, and I think it shakes up the space and lets girls or women listen to this podcast and feel comfortable. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
We were excited.
That's
Yeah, we are
great.
excited. I like how you guys too, just like you want to know whether it's the guest or, anyone else who is talking in this space, you want to understand their story. So that just I know someone out here who's listening to this can just relate to um anything that anyone is saying on this podcast, which is just I know. It's nice to find people that who are like, especially in this hard world.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah. I always had a little saying. I've told Tracy this before. I had a little saying on my desk that was from Michelle Obama, and it said, start everything you do with your humanity. And I'm a big fan of your mom's, but I do think, one of the thing that makes all of us, the five of us on this podcast today similar is just going back to like, we're real people. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of hard work that we can do and a lot of knowledge, acumen, tenacity, whatever is expected, we can like find a way.
Mhm.
But we also are like real people with hearts and care about each other and care about others. So there's a good balance, I think, in especially that Raether blood. So
So, growing up in the Raether household, what is a lesson or something that you have carried forth into your adult life that, your mom instilled in you and it's just kind of part of your heartbeat now?
Oh, I think one I've heard too many times is life is not fair. And
Yeah.
I think it's really hard lesson to learn, especially when you're young and everything is, it's got to be fair with your siblings. But um, I think the younger you learn that, the better it is. That life's not fair, but that doesn't mean that you won't find your way. And so, sure, you might not get that job that you prepared hours for, weeks for, or you might not get that client, and you don't think it's fair because you had the best presentation or pricing or whatever it is. But something else is around the corner and another door will open, and again, you'll find your way. So,
I would say mom always told me to be the first one to do it. Be the first one to raise your hand, be the first one to ask the question, be the first one to even say no. Because criticism is totally fine. um, so I take that with me throughout. I took that with me throughout college and always raise my hand and ask questions, or raise my hand and just say, "Wait, why does that work that way?" Um, and that's brought me a lot of answers and clarity for sure.
Mhm.
yeah, us as kids, we were never discouraged to ask questions.
Yeah.
I think it was a common saying, kids should be seen, not heard. That was not in our house. It was encouraged as children. No, you should be comfortable around adults and you should ask questions. And um, the adult should be able to control their emotion if they shouldn't be annoyed with you or show that they're annoyed. Um, yeah, you should be open and comfortable. And that was wonderful to have because now growing up, we choose to hang out with our parents more than we do our friends. So
Yeah.
great.
That's so fun.
That's precious. I
Fun
love
for them too, I know it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so tell me, like, you had a strong mom growing up. Tell me a little bit about, and I don't know your dad very well, but how did they play off of each other? Like, was one the good cop, one was the bad cop? Like, what was that like?
Oh, we
Your
love our dad.
We do
Yeah.
for dad. He
Oh, so
he is
cute.
definitely the more softer side. Mom is the more stricter side. Dad Dad would lay the hammer down every once in a while, but mom kinda had to been like, "Rick," like, "Come on." But dad was just, like, the best to run to about, like, "Dad, I'm not feeling so good about this test tomorrow," or, "Dad, I'm not feeling so good about, this meeting I have." He's just like, "Represent yourself, represent me, like, you can do it, you got this." And, mom, on the other hand, is just like, she just pushes us, whereas dad's gonna hold our hand and, like, walk us to it.
Yeah, our dad was definitely the softer soul.
Mhm.
Not that my mom wasn't either, it was just a difference of what we would look for, and I think that was the beauty of having
Yeah.
or having both of them as parents is depending on that problem is depending who we would go to, but, um, my dad just was yeah, even if it was boy trouble, my dad would sit there and listen,
Mhm.
and, like, he would talk it through with us, and he still does to this day,
Yeah.
and so, again, it's, um yin and yang kinda thing. So we got it both, and we're pretty blessed to have that. So
Yes, we are. Mhm.
sounds like you had a really good balance between the two. That's
Mm.
beautiful. Yeah. What's one thing that you would say to your mom as like a life lesson or something that inspiration that you would share with her? Adult to adult, woman to woman, that maybe she wouldn't necessarily hear but for this space.
that's a good question. I think I would tell her, just thank you for riding hard for us. Like, thank you, whether it was, again, teaching us skills as young adults, and at the time, it seemed frustrating to now she'll sit there and have a martini with us and let us cry it out, but she's just always in our corner. Although, again, like, sometimes you don't see it at that time, but she's just always there, and she's always speaking up for us. I don't s She's not like a lawnmower parent, but she's she's telling us, like, "No, you need to fight for X, Y, and Z," or, "You need to push forward because of this." And so, like, I remember one time in college, I was failing calculus. Don't ask me why I was taking calculus as a marketing major, but I was. And I called her and I'm just bawling because I think it was like a 14% on an exam. And she's like, you got to get into that professor's office. You got to sit there for hours. You got to put in your work, but you're going to pass. Cause I wanted to drop at the time. And she's like, you're going to pass. You're going to pass. So keep going. So yeah, she rides hard for her kids and her family and her tribe, I should
I
extend.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, mom's very good at, like, I mean, she'll, like Emily said, she's always in our corner, but she's, like, so not so far back, but far back enough where she just lets us live our own life. She lets us go forward and experience these things, and then, sometimes we run with our tail between our legs like, "Mom, that didn't work out," or, "This relationship, it's not working out." And she's like, "I knew it all along, I just didn't wanna tell you because I wanted you to experience this, and I wanted you to learn from it." And that's one blessing that me and Emily have had is we don't really have helicopter parents that kind of, shield around us and ask, like, "Are you okay?" Like, or, you know, those kind of questions. It's very, you go out and you experience it and you learn from it and, we'll help you pick up the pieces, but, um, we'll just let you do your thing.
It's great. I was thinking in my head, you talked about helicopter parents, you talked about lawnmower parents. Do you have a thing that you describe your mom?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I don't maybe like this might be lighthearted and she'll probably laugh at this, but maybe she's like a sunshine parent. She's just way up in the sky, but she's always looking down on us and she's
Mhm.
always in light and positivity. Um, but she's not necessarily involved in our day to day. And every once in a while she'll give us a little sunburn when we're not behaving the right way. So like that's the way I could
That's a
describe
Great.
great way to put it.
Great.
it.
Yeah, that's
I like
exactly
it.
what it is.
I was Yeah, that's good. That's better than what I was thinking. I was trying to equate it to like a bulldog, obviously. So I
Yeah.
could come up with some way to make it her favorite, animal, but I didn't think of one. So
She is a bulldog too. She probably would prefer to be called a bulldog
then the
'cause
sunshine parent, well,
in the sunshine. But
it
I
was
don't
pretty
know,
good.
bulldogs are a little lazy. And I think she's anything but that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Gosh. But I do want to tell you, like, in all, like, maybe like with my whole heart, like, everyone who has worked for your mom, like, would run through a brick wall for her. I mean, it's like, it's a funny, it's a really generalized, like, every single person. It's crazy.
Mm.
She instills a level of trust and a um connection that is like really hard to find,
Yeah.
especially in a big corporation. Like your mom was my boss for like 9 years.
Mhm.
And again, like I would do anything for her. She knew that. Like she told me that. But like you guys are lucky. You've got a great mom. Like, that's your
Yeah.
mom,
I know.
you know?
It's
That's
thank you.
awesome to hear.
That's you're very, very lucky.
I'm glad you know that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's easier to see when you're like on the adult side. It's harder to see when you're a kid, I think. But um, yeah, I mean, it's again like the balance that she brought forth was a really good, kind of example for me because I saw her being a great mom and a great worker, which again is what I know she wanted you to
Yeah.
learn. But some of the women, were not. They were one or the other. And it was very obvious that they weren't, you know, working so hard to make both parts of their life successful. So she was a really good example for me.
Oh, that's so
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I always thought what it would be like to be on the other side of her in her corporate world. I think I would sometimes be terrified to work for her, but then on the other hand, like she means nothing but good intent and
Yep.
she wants to see you succeed. And so that's why she does those things. And she was very similar as a parent. So,
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I do have a funny story to share with you.
oh,
It's
It,
do.
I, yeah, no, this is one of my favorite Raether stories. And what happened was I came from Minnesota and I was taught to be very like prim and proper. And so I would call people and I would say, "Good morning, Laura. This is Sarah, my last name at the time. This is Sarah Frasca calling. It's approximately 9 a.m. and I'm calling to check in with you to make sure that you knew that I have a meeting later today. And here's my plan. I'm going to call the person and I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I kind of thought you might want to check in with me a little bit. And I know you guys know what's going through your heads of what your mom would say, right? So anyway, that particular day, she called me and she said, Sarah, if you ever leave me a voicemail over a minute long, I'm not even listening. I'm just deleting it. And I thought, oh, so the funny thing was we had so much trust built up and so much love and, care and compassion and all those things. I was like, oh, okay, I can be more succinct. And so I got the message, I got the lesson, you know, from someone, but she has a funny way of sharing her messages sometimes where you're like, oh my gosh. And it's like an endearing thing for me of like, yeah, I learned a ton from Raether because she just like hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
like there was such a kind of like love and support behind it that I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Like tough love. I'm good. So
Yeah.
like you
Tough
guys
love is
probably.
a big word in
Yeah,
our
totally.
It's
Totally.
like hanging outside our like front door. It's just like tough love.
Uh-huh. Mhm. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It is. Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for, I don't want to say taking her in or taking her under your wings, but thank you for accepting our mother for who she is. I know she's not everybody's cup of tea, but she's our cup of tea. So
Mm,
yeah.
totally.
She's fabulous.
Totally.
And thanks for giving her this platform. When she said she was going to do a podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, the things that are going to come out of her mouth, I'm so scared. I'm glad she has you guys to kind of at least show her the guardrails. I don't know if she'll follow them.
Yeah. She's amazing. She's so good. You know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she named the podcast too.
We did hear about the name.
Yeah.
She woke
And
up.
it took.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Tell me.
She woke up, well, because mom's an early riser. But when I rolled out of bed, she was like, Amelia, I've been up since 4 a.m. I finally have it. And I was like, okay, mom, what is it? She's like, tits, wit, and grit. And I was like, that is it. Yes, that is completely it. Sounds good. I know it's going to be great.
I mean, the funny thing is, I am, again, like Minnesota, prude or like, just kind of like, oh my God, I can't say that word out loud. And it took me a really long time. But, your mom brings some confidence and like, let's just do this. Let's go. So that's pretty fun. That's it for today's episode of Tits, Wit, and Grit, where bold women, big ideas, and a little bit of fearless attitude collide.
If today's conversation sparked something for you, share it with someone who needs it. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.
Remember, show up with confidence, trust your wit, and never underestimate the power of grit. See you next time.